anyone listening they're wanting to start Sober October, but maybe they're nervous about it or they're excited about it. I feel like there's two different reactions that can happen when you think about it. Amanda, what would you say to someone who's getting started right now?
I would say, regardless of which camp you're in, treat it like an experiment and just really come from curiosity rather than shame or judgment. Like, it's just data collection. And you can learn a lot about yourself. Maybe you will go back to drinking, maybe you won't. But I think too many people come at it like a challenge, like white knuckling that we've kind of all talked about, rather than being open to like, this is a really interesting experiment that can show you a lot about yourself and your relationship with alcohol.
Casey, what would you say to someone who's getting started?
Yeah, I love what Amanda said because I love the idea of curiosity and noticing the good and the bad. Like you were saying, Jill, you were like, oh yeah, it wasn't even that hard. I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to go back to drinking. My biggest piece of advice, because there is quote unquote Sober October and it is a thing, like tell everybody. I mean, people always talk about they're like, I'm training for a 10K, like, I'm, got a new Peloton, whatever it is. Like, be like, I'm doing Sober October. I'm doing 30 days with no alcohol. Tell your workout friends, your work friends, your best friends, your spouse, no shame. Just be like, yeah, I'm doing a health challenge. That accountability is huge.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think both of those are amazing. Also, I would try to avoid the countdown trap because I think then you really are missing, you're kind of missing the point, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're spending Sober October counting down to when you quote unquote can drink again, I think that you're really allowing alcohol into Sober October, and it's kind of living in the shadow of alcohol, and that's it. You're missing the magic. I always say, like, and I think 30-day challenges are great, and any break you give your mind and your body from alcohol is amazing, but I think that it can be like, I'm a runner, and so these 30-day challenges are kind of like the first mile of any race. And like the first mile, if you're a runner, you know that it doesn't matter if I'm running 3 miles or if I'm running a marathon. That first mile, everything in me is saying, stop, this sucks. You don't have to do it. This is horrible. This is why are you doing this? It's just, you have to get into your stride and you have to get used to it. And so sometimes I consider those 30-day challenges like you're doing the first mile over and over and over again, and you never get to see the glory. And like when those endorphins kick in a run, when you feel like, oh, I could run forever. Like that's why we run. I would never want to run 1 mile over and over and over again.
I love that, Suzanne. That was really nice. I don't run, so I don't know anything about that, but
yeah, I get it. Well, I think because when you think about like the mile challenge in like school, like we used to have that. I'm like,
I skipped that.
Of course, that is like, that's a way to make a whole generation hate running, because that is a mile is the worst distance you can run.
In field hockey, we used to have to do the time mile like every single week, and I kept going to my coach like, why do we need to compete? She was like, get out.
The worst.
Because I was always like way in the back.
Yes. I hate the first mile of every single run.
And I think it could be like the first, because I'm not a runner, but I really love to work out. And to me, like the other rate is like, it's the first 10 minutes of a workout.
Yes.
Whenever I'm like, I always want to stop. I always say to myself, okay, do 10 minutes. And then if you hate it, you can stop. But I don't really ever do that because you get into it by then.
Totally. Yeah. Your brain catches up and your body starts, like, you work out the kinks and you start to feel comfortable. And then you're like, oh, okay, I'm not crazy for doing this.
Yeah.
I will add, you guys kind of covered what I was thinking, but I will also add, change up what you do. I think that a lot of people, we quit drinking and we try to just not drink, but then we end up sitting around watching TV every night in the same seat that we used to drink in, or if our spouses or friends or family members drink, we sit around and watch them drink all weekend. That's going to be very triggering, and that's going to make you feel FOMO, and it's going to make you feel like sobriety's boring. So I would encourage you to change your routine. In my very first month, I stopped watching TV completely, and I didn't go in my living room at all because I used to just sit there and get drunk every night. So just go somewhere else. Sit in a different room in your house and watch Netflix on your computer if you have to. But change up your routine. Don't feel like removing alcohol is the only thing that should be changing in the month of Sober October.